Good morning, students. Let's continue with the reference to context of the same chapter, right? The Bennets. I'm sure you must have completed your question and answers. If you haven't, then it's no problem. Let's continue with the reference to context. Now, see here, it says, "Oh, Mr. Bennet, you're so heartless. If you don't." Now, this is that place where Mrs. Bennet felt that Mr. Bennet is being heartless and is not inviting Mr. Bingley, right? So let's continue. Let's see the question number one. Who should Mr. Bennet visit and why? So Mr. Bennet should visit Mr. Bingley. Why? In order to invite him to his house. Who were supposed to make the visit? Mr. Bingley was supposed to make the visit. I'm sorry, who were supposed to make the visit? See, it is given here. Page number 81 again. There were some people, they were supposed to make the visit. So William, Lady Lucasville and Mrs. Long and everyone else. So this is the part. So they all were supposed to make a visit. What hope did Mrs. Bennet harbor? Now what were Mrs. Bennet's hopes? Let's see. She hoped that Mr. Bingley would come and choose one of her girls and will marry them. So that is what she hoped for. What suggestion did Mr. Bennet have for Mrs. Bennet? Mr. Bennet said that if you wish, then you should go. If Mr. Bingley, he really likes one of our daughters, then he can come and say that. Right? So there is nothing as such here. For the suggestion, see, it is given here. Mr. Bennet said that, it is given here, please turn to page 81, that if Mr. Bingley wished to marry one of their daughters, he would have to do it without his help. That's it. Right? So after this, we have finished the chapter, the Bennets. Now let's start with the Ballad of Semmerwater. It is on page number 85. It's a nice poem, right? It's a nice poem and you will understand it. You'll like it. It's a kind of a story again. Maybe it's a poem. This story is about this kingdom, Semmerwater. And it was a great kingdom. The people there, they were so selfish and, very proud. The people of that kingdom were very proud. Even the king and the queen, they were very proud. So once what happens here, one angel, what he'll do is he'll transform himself into a beggar and will go to that place, will go to that kingdom that was next to the river, next to the lake in fact. And this kingdom was Semmerwater. So this beggar goes there and he begs for food. So nobody was even bothered about him. Nobody really wanted to feed him. He goes to the king's palace. He kept knocking, he kept asking for food. There also he was turned down and nobody was even bothered. Even the queen was not at all bothered. Now this beggar was all hungry and thirsty. He came to a place where, there was this small hut, herdsman cottage. So he was a, herdsman. And when this beggar went there, this poor chap, he actually fed the beggar. He fed this beggar and he gave him some food and ale to drink. Now after that, this beggar, when he ate the food, he was happy, quite satisfied. And then what he did, he cursed the whole of the kingdom so that they would submerge or they'll actually enter into the lake. And the same thing happened, when he cursed, except that particular house, that hut, where he was treated with respect and where he was given food. That hut was still there, but the rest of the kingdom was all underwater till the doomsday. Doomsday means till the end of the time. And, there were weeds. This kingdom was under the lake now. So I hope it is clear. Let's go through it. The Ballad of Semmerwater. Deep asleep, deep asleep it lies. So we are talking about the kingdom. So it is deep down and it is all asleep, lost. The still lake of Semmerwater under the still sky. So under the still lake of Semmerwater under the still sky. So under that sky, what lies there? This kingdom still lies there. And many a phantom, and many a phantom below. Phantom is, again a unit used for measuring, like if we talk about running on the road, or it is in kilometers, but under the water it is phantom. So many phantom deep down. This kingdom was submerged. In a king's tower and a queen's bower, the fishes come and go. So this kingdom, this palace, everything was underwater, and maybe it was the king's palace, but who used to come and go? Fishes, right? Maybe it's the king's tower, maybe it's the queen's room, but they were occupied with fishes now. Once there stood by Semmerwater a mickle town and tall. So now they are talking about the time when this kingdom was above waters. Let's see. So there was a time when this Semmerwater, it was a great town and a tall town, king's tower and queen's bower, and wakemen on the wall. So there was a time when this kingdom was all happy, prosperous, and king was in his tower, queen was in her room, and they had guards everywhere. Wakemen are the guards, or you can say the watchmen. Now came a beggar, halt and sore. So there came a beggar. How was he? He was all crippled and in pain, sore. I faint for lack of bread. He said to the wakeman, to the guard, that see, I'm here. I'm dying because of hunger. I'm starving. King's tower and queen's bower cast him forth unfed. Now even king and the queen, what they did, they sent him away. Cast him means they sent him away unfed, without feeding anything. So just imagine, they were so hard-hearted, they were not at all moved by his crippled body or the pain. He knocked at the door of the herdsman cot. Cot means cottage, right? So what he did, this beggar went to a place where this herdsman cottage was. He knocked there. The herdsman cot in the dale. So now the herdsman cot was there. In the dale means, dale is a place next to the river itself. They gave him of their oat cake, they gave him of their ale. So what these poor people did, they actually gave him some food, their oat cake, and they gave him their ale, and they gave him something to drink. Ale is a liquid, that you drink. He has cursed that city proud, he has cursed it in its pride. He has cursed it into Semmerwater, down the brand hill's side. He has cursed it into Semmerwater, theirs to bide. So what he did, he was so angry with the way the king and the people behaved in that town or kingdom, that he cursed them. And what he did, he cursed its pride. He actually cursed the proud people, cursed their pride, and he cursed it into Semmerwater, and he cursed that this kingdom should go under the water. Down the brand hill means down the steep hillside. He cursed it into Semmerwater, there to bide. So he actually cursed this kingdom, and this kingdom went under the water, and it has to wait there. King's towers and queen's bowers, and a mickle town and tall, by glimmer of scale and gleam of fin, folk have seen them all. So now the place king's tower and the queen's room were filled with, maybe they were the great town, they were tall and great and proud, but now what we see there is the glimmer of scales. I'm sure you know about the fish scales. We're talking about the skin of the fish and the gleam of gleam of fin. So now we can only see the fish's scales and their fins there. Folk have seen them all. The people, they've all seen it. So who lives there now? Fishes. King's tower and queen's bower, and read in the gloom. So maybe it was the king's tower or queen's room. It is now filled with weed and reed, means it is filled with grass, and weeds are underwater plants, and in the gloom means in sadness. And a lost city in Semmerwater, deep asleep till dew. So this lost city, which is lost in the Semmerwater lake, is lost and is actually asleep till the end of the time. Doom means end of the time. I hope it is clear, right? So it's a great poem. So this is, if you learn it in a form of a story, you'll understand it easily. But if you learn it as a poem, you might find it difficult. So I hope it is clear. Now I'll do one thing. We'll continue with the question and answers. See, you can just go through these question and answers. This is just one line answers, right? It is just one line answers. And I am sure if you've heard the story clearly, if you've heard the whole poem clearly, you can answer it and you really don't have to worry about it. Who gave the beggar food? So you know it. Who was the one who gave him food? The herdsman. What food was given to him? Oat cakes and ale to drink. I'll just check. Yes, of course, it is written here, oat cake and ale to drink. How did the beggar punish the inhospitable city? Beggar cursed the city so that it will sink under the water till the end of time. Oh, we just have 3 questions here and they're very short. See if you can write them in a proper way. Like, who gave the beggar food? You can always write, when beggar was, cast away by the king and his people, this beggar went to a herdsman's cot, and there, when he knocked, the people, they, welcomed him. They gave him some food and ale to drink. How did the beggar punish the city? When beggar was treated badly by the king and the queen, and he actually cursed them. Okay, let's see page 88. We have reference to context here. Please do not, I request you, do not copy these question and answers right now. I will let you know whether you have to copy them in your notebook or not. Don't do anything right now, okay? Just go through it. You know the answers. The answers are just one-line answers. So please do not write it in your notebook right now. Leave it. Just finish your past work. He has cursed it to buy. Means who cursed and whom? So the beggar cursed the unfed beggar. He cursed the town, the kingdom of the king and queen. Why was it cursed? Beggar cursed him. Why? Because he was cast away by them unfed. Means nobody was even bothered to give him food. What did he think about the city? He thought that the city was too proud and inhospitable, and the way they treated him was unacceptable. What was the end result? In the end, we can see that he cursed the city to sink under the water till the end of time. And that same town that was under the same kingdom that was under the water was now filled with weed and reed, and there were, the glimmers of the scales and fin. Now, it was only the fishes who were living there. Right, you can write that. Any other doubts with this chapter? See, it's a short poem and there's nothing much. You can remember the name of the poem, and the name of the writer is always very important. Name of the poet or the author, in the stories, both are very important. Please remember that part. I hope you have no problem with the rest of the chapter. It's a nice chapter. You can go through the new words. They are very important. I want you to learn them. Mickle means great. Wakeman means watchman. Halt is crippled. Other meaning of halt is to stop. Brant, steep, wide, await, to the judgment day, the end of the world. Now see, understand, and when I say I want you to learn these new words, means I want you to learn them not for the exams but for yourself. You should know the meaning. Is that clear? Fine. So that is it for today. In the next video or in the next class, I'll start with Odysseus. Right? Okay then. Thank you.